Once upon a time there was a little girl. She went to bed knowing how much her family loved her, and when she woke up in the morning, everything turned out good. The end. Once upon a time there was a family. They were so poor, I once saw them kicking a can down the street. I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "Moving." They were so poor that the mama once said, "Honey, take the kids out into the woods and don't bring them back. We can't afford to feed them. This is getting ridiculous. All these bills. It's just nuts." So the husband took the kids out into the woods. Said, "Honey, we're going to go cut some wood." The kids followed him. But the kids aren't stupid. They heard what was going on. The house was so small that if you walked in the front door, you could trip over something and end up going out the back door. It's that small. So you can't have any secrets in a house that small. The kids overheard what was going on, so they filled their pockets full of little pebbles, little white pebbles, and they followed him. They left a little trail all the way out. And then when Daddy disappeared like a ninja, they followed all the trail back in, and he's like sitting at the table going, "Kids, what are you doing here? I mean, so good to see you. Wow, what a relief. Whew, whew. I'm glad you're here. Oh my God, I was worried. Let's go cut some wood again tomorrow. Okay?" "Okay." So the next day they went out. Kids didn't have time to gather up pebbles. They just woke up in the morning and they went out and cut some wood. But they took their GPS. Now, normally that would be a good thing, but they forgot to click the little home button and set the setting there so they could find their way home when they left the spot. So they didn't have it. They thought, well, you know what, we'll do our best and we'll just mark this spot. And then we'll never be more than a couple of hours away from the house, no matter which way we go, and we can find our way back. And the batteries died, and Hansel says to Gretel, "Gretel, did you bring the batteries?" And she said, "I thought you did." "Can we use the ones in your little..." "No, they're dead." Shh. So anyway, Hansel and Gretel were lost out in the forest with a dead GPS, no batteries, no clue, and no little trail of stones. They're walking around in the woods trying to figure out how to get home. And they're lost, absolutely lost. And then, look, over there. Do you smell that? What is that? It smells sweet and gingerbready. Somebody's baking something delicious. What are we going to do? Do you smell that? I think I see a house in the woods over there. Maybe they're baking gingerbread. If they're making gingerbread, there's people there, and they can find us home. They can find us a town. They can find us something. So they go to the house. And as they get close to the house, it's like amazing. Like it looks like a giant gingerbread house. They're thinking, wow, we shouldn't have eaten those mushrooms when we stopped. We really shouldn't have. But it's a house anyway. Let's go over. And like, ding, ding, ding. And it's all soft and bready when they tap on the door. Ding, ding, ding. And they break off a chunk of door, and it's like, that is gingerbread. And they're eating all the chunks of the house, and gumdrops, candy canes, icing everywhere. Everything on this house was edible, and they're like, they're like rats chewing on the drywall, man. It's like disgusting. Anyway, all of a sudden, there's like this woman shows up, and she's like, "You're eating my house." And they're like, "Sorry, there's more inside. Why don't you come in and get some more candy?" And they're like, "Okay." Now, this would be a good place to stop, because what have I always told you? Don't go into strangers' houses, especially if they're offering you candy. I can't stress this enough. Alright, but they go in the house, and the old woman, kindly, loving little old woman, she closes the door, and the door is like locked. Now they're trapped in the house. I've been so lonely here since that house fell on my sister. I can't even find those red shoes she used to wear. I don't know what to do. So, Hansel and Gretel are trapped in there, and the next thing you know, the white woman grabs Hansel and she puts him in a cage. And the door closes on poor Hansel. Now, she's a little paranoid, so she's made the bars a smidgen close together, and she can't even see in between the bars to see how Hansel is doing. He can barely get air in there. And so she's like, "How's it going in there? You were pretty skinny when I put you in there." And she starts feeding him candy and stuff, trying to fatten him up. Now, why would you want to fatten him up? Well, 'cause that makes tender meat. When you cook something, it's nice to have that little bit of extra fat on there that makes the meat stay nice and moist. Okay, but this is people. That's just gross. Anyway, she's fattening him up. Poor Hansel, sitting in there eating nothing but candy all the livelong day. And she's like, "Stick your finger out. I want to see how chubby you're getting." And he'd stick a little stick out through the hole. He had like this little pretzel stick, and he'd like stick it out the door. She'd like feel it and like, "That's not very chubby. Keep eating. Eat more." He's like, "Okay." And she'd keep shoveling the food underneath the thing, and he'd be just packing it back, getting nice and chubby.